The tale of Jed Clampett began in the rolling hills, where the simple life was written in the language of soil and sweat. He was a man of the mountain, a humble soul whose days were measured by the labor of keeping his kin fed. One ordinary afternoon, while the sun cast long shadows across the rugged terrain, Jed took his rifle in search of dinner. The bullet found its mark, but the earth had a surprise of its own. As the ground gave way, it did not reveal a hollow, but a fountain of thick, dark liquid. It was oil, the black gold that would change their destiny forever. Texas tea, they called it, and with it came the tide of sudden wealth that swept the Clampetts from their quiet ridge into the bustling heart of California. The kinfolk, sharp-eyed and sensible, declared that California was the only place for a family of such newfound means. They loaded their weathered truck with their belongings, their traditions, and their unwavering spirits, and they headed toward the golden horizon of Beverly Hills. Upon arrival, the transition was a whirlwind of swimming pools and movie stars, a world where the quiet rhythms of the mountains were replaced by the frantic pace of the city. Yet, through it all, Jed and his family remained as grounded as the trees they had left behind. In the midst of this new life, a young man named Shorty Kellums found himself in a peculiar tangle of romance and hesitation. Shorty was fond of a girl named Alverna, and the talk of the town was that a wedding was imminent. One afternoon, amidst the sterile marble of the bank, the conversation turned to the upcoming nuptials. Mr. Drysdale, a man whose life revolved around the steady tick of financial clocks, was caught in the middle. The office was abuzz with the talk of Shorty and Alverna, and for a moment, the lobby felt like the bustling center of a small town. Shorty, however, possessed the restless spirit of a bird in a cage. He had been locked away in a makeshift enclosure, a wedding present from Mayor Heller, designed to keep him from wandering off to visit the secretaries at the bank. The cage was a testament to the mayor's practical, if slightly unconventional, nature. Shorty paced inside, a caged bear of a man, complaining about his predicament to any who would listen. He spoke of the secretaries as if they were sirens of the city, and he claimed that after looking at a flock of turkeys, one could truly appreciate the beauty of a peacock. His affection for the ladies was a source of constant frustration for those trying to keep him on the path to the altar. Jethro, acting as the guardian of this restless groom, prided himself on an intellect he often described as a giant brain. He believed he was far too sharp to be outsmarted by a country boy like Shorty. Jethro spent his time watching the cage, convinced that his own mental prowess was enough to keep the situation under control. He spoke to Shorty with a mix of condescension and curiosity, even going so far as to entertain the idea that he could see his own brain by peering into his ear with a flashlight. It was a testament to the innocence of their world, a place where the lines between cleverness and folly were often blurred. Shorty, ever the opportunist, played upon Jethro's vanity. He promised to let Jethro get a glimpse of that supposed giant brain if only the door were unlocked. Jethro, blinded by his own curiosity, fell for the ruse. With a click of a lock and a surge of pride, the door swung open, and Shorty was free once more. The ensuing pursuit involved the entire staff of the bank, with Mr. Drysdale orchestrating the efforts to recover the runaway groom. The scene was one of comedic chaos, as Shorty slipped through their fingers time and again, always returning to the allure of the secretarial pool. The day of the intended wedding arrived, and the rehearsal was a comedy of errors. The group gathered, each playing their part with varying degrees of success. Jethro was tasked with the duty of the best man, though his grasp of the proceedings was tenuous at best. He found himself more interested in the way the shadows danced on the walls than in the solemnity of the ceremony. He imagined shapes in the light, seeing a girl taking a sunbath where there was nothing but paint and plaster. The frustration of the others grew as the rehearsals were repeatedly interrupted by Shorty's disappearances and Jethro's distractions. Despite the mishaps, the determination to unite Shorty and Alverna remained. The group traveled, searched, and negotiated, with Mr. Drysdale constantly trying to maintain order in a world that seemed to thrive on disorder. When a new law allowed for an immediate wedding, hope surged once more. They believed that this time they had finally secured their groom, handcuffed to his duties and ready to face his fate. In a twist that neither the Clampetts nor the banker could have anticipated, the final attempt at a wedding took an unexpected turn. A judge arrived, but instead of marrying Shorty to Alverna, he revealed that he had already performed a ceremony for Shorty and someone else. The confusion was absolute. Shorty had, in his own unconventional way, found a different path, leaving the others in a state of stunned disbelief. As the dust settled, the reality of the situation began to sink in. The Code of the Hills, which Jed held in such high regard, demanded honor and commitment, but the reality of the city had proved to be a much more fluid landscape. They stood there, a collection of individuals caught between two worlds, the old and the new, the expected and the surprising. Jed looked upon the scene with the patience of a man who had seen the earth bubble with oil and learned that life is full of things that defy explanation. The journey to Beverly Hills had been long, and though the wedding had not gone as planned, the spirit of the family remained intact. They had come as mountaineers, and they remained as they were, a testament to the idea that no matter how much the setting changes, the heart of the story always remains the same. The laughter, the confusion, and the genuine connections they formed served as a reminder that the true wealth was never the black gold of the earth, but the moments shared among the people who walked the path by their side. They stood together in the office of the bank, a family that had traveled far, bound by ties that no cage could hold and no misunderstanding could truly sever. The story of Jed Clampett was not just one of fortune, but one of resilience, humor, and the enduring strength of a simple, honest life, lived with a heart that was always, in its own way, looking for the next adventure.